Hello everyone and welcome to a big one-lot review of Pogo, DC and Marvel sets. I'm doing all of these in one go because A, I'm changing video styles, trying to group things up because I'm going to be repeating a lot of the same information, same complaints, same reviews in a lot of these videos if I do them separately. So might as well save some time, save you some time, save myself some time and put them all in one video. So here's a lot of figures that I ordered this month that contain both DC and Marvel. I also just recently did a Pogo and X9H1 that are all related to Avengers Infinity War, so you can check those out as well. So starting in the front row here we have PG set number 8117 that contains Cosmic Hulk, Winter Soldier, Electrocutioner, Supergiant, Exodus, Meteorite, Rogue and Luke Cage. The only one here that is DC from this set is Electrocutioner. The figures in the second row on the left hand side is set number 8120. You have Black Mamba, Red Arrow, Firestar, Hope Summers, Catwoman from Batman Returns, Taskmaster, Deadshot and Mr. Terrific. Next lot is 8121. We have Thanos, Sentinel, Batman Ninja, Hip Hop Deadpool, Nightwing, World War Hulk, Ultimate Punisher and Hawkeye. Next we have 8122 that has the classic Valkyrie, Taskmaster again, Thanos, Thane, son of Thanos, Skaar, Ares, Gorgon and Catwoman. I think that's the Arkham Asylum version of Catwoman. Then we have set number 8127, Aquaman, Elsa, Bloodstone, Scarlet Witch, Commander A, Inque, if you don't remember her, I remember her from Batman Beyond animated series, Surge, Snowflame and Mockingbird. On the back middle here we have PG set number 8146, PG Batman NES, that purple Batman, Classic Nick Fury, Old Man Logan, Anti-Venom, Deadpool Spider-Man, Batman Deadpool, Batman Prehistoric and Batman Black Lantern. And finally we have 8154 that contains Armin Solar, Killmonger Classic, Batman Witch Hunter Suit, Gas Suit, Violet Suit, Lightning Suit, Franken-Castle and Darkseid as a minifigure. I think all of these figures individual numbers in the video description below if you want to find them online or buy them somewhere else. I just want to say apart from this set in the middle right here on the back, all the other sets use digital printing, and frankly I'm quite sick of it at this point because it's not good digital printing. I don't know, the ones on the Gundam sets I reviewed previously were kind of okay, but the ones here just aren't that good. The resolution on most of these digital prints are quite low, making the lines a bit jittery and just doesn't seem smooth, as well as the digital print effect that makes all of the colors a bit bumpy. It just doesn't look good. Starting with our first set, the Electrocutioner here is based on his Arkham Asylum universe look and design. So if you're a type of person who's trying to collect all the Arkham related figures, then this should be great overall. He does look okay from the viewfinder, but when I just pick him up and look right up to him, he doesn't look that good. But out of all the other digitally printed figures, he's okay, I suppose. And he's not too bad. Arm printing is decent enough. Back printing is a little bit darker than I like it to be, but you still see the details just fine, and he does have a little bit of scar printed on his face. We have another sort of more comic booky version of Winter Soldier. We have far too many Winter Soldiers right now, all based on very similar designs. If you already have some previous Winter Soldier almost looking like this, there's no reason to pick him up, especially when his entire face is digital print, meaning his entire face is bumped up. It just looks a tad bit weird. The overall details are nice enough, but Remember those other like chrome armed Winter Soldiers we've got, or silver or metallic arm ones? Those are probably your better choices. His arm printing and stuff are fine enough, and he comes with a tiny little pistol. Next up we have Cosmic Hulk, which is just a slight redesign of the original Hulk minifigure, and he looks, again, okay for the most part. I'm just not a big fan of the digital print. And you know, if they're gonna digital print stuff, why can't they paint the side of his body as well to make it match the rest of the metalliciness? And his back does have metallic print, but it's still in complete green. Like, the design looks scaly, doesn't look like it's just muscle tissue. Did they forget to add the color or whatever? And they didn't bother painting his purple pants all around his legs, so he just looks kind of bad on the back. Again, on the other side of his arms, it looks like he's got bandages and stuff on his arm, but there's no coloring. So, just not that great. Next up we have Supergiant, which X-Signage has produced, and here it is. Much sharper print, much more detailed. The blue is a bit better that they used on the Pogo one, but other than that, the other figure is just much nicer. The other figure, the X-Signage one, doesn't have the little golden badge on her, but looking online, she doesn't always have that. She does have a little bit of back detail there, but nothing too special. And then we have Exodus. Instead of printing double-sided faces, they just printed one face on two heads. That's just dumb. The cape still sucks, but the gold one is a little bit better because it's slightly thicker. Otherwise, paint quality is decent enough. Quick look at the side and the back. Really don't like the arm printing. Meteorite here has extra plastic on the hairpiece. That just... I suppose you can cut that off yourself afterwards. Quick look at the side and the back. Nothing too much to say about her. Okay, her entire digital print pattern is off-center. That makes it look really bad. The facial print's also slightly thicker than I like it to be. She does have some arm print, some back print, even though she has a fabric jacket over her. But there's actually some more extra detail here. I don't know if you can see under the right line. You still see the black lines. Printing black lines on the black torso, it's just silly. Finally, I have the comic book version of Luke Cage here, but we already had him in different sets and brands, so there's nothing special here. No painted pants, no chains for him. They just put a little bit on his arms. It's just average. The next set we have here suffers from the same issues as the other set as well, where the overall printing is just slightly low, whereas they look okay from distance, but as soon as you pick one of these figures up and just have a closer look, the print, the goodness of the design is just all gone. Everything is just a little bit faded, everything's a little bit low res. Taskmaster's shield here is pretty awesome, but that's about it. Now we are getting some slightly more obscure characters here, characters that I've never heard of, such as Firestar and Hope Summers. Apparently she'll partner up with Cable in the future as her first mutant born after no more mutants are born. So, okay. So purely for the sake of having a bunch of new characters not produced by any other bootleg brand at all, I guess it's nice to have some of these characters. And while the resolution thing is not great with the digital prints, they seem to work a bit better with more cartoony designs. You know, designs that are actually based on the comic book looks and not the TV or movie or video game versions. Those seem to suffer more because they have much more detail in between the lines, and so everything just seems a bit more faded. When there's less detail, the digital print does fare okay. But then we got problems like this red arrow here, which has a slight misalignment, so he's got white outlines around his face mask that just looks ridiculous. And they didn't even need to print a white layer for the face because most of the colors are darker than the flesh skin tone anyway. And then we have Catwoman here, which looks as way too pale. I know she was white, very white in the movie, but it just looks kind of wrong here. With the two DC returning characters here, we've seen these done under bootlegs before and there's nothing been done new here. So just get the other versions, these ones just aren't that great. Quick look at the back and see that Pogo has decided to put a little bit of detail on some of these. That red line's almost pointless. So there's that blue line right there. But this, and that one are welcome prints. Most of the back prints are quite simple, and I think the red arrow one is still incorrect. Is it supposed to look like that? The front design of Red Arrow is slightly different from the SDCC figure we've got and also copied by many bootleg brands. And the back there they use a very simple design that you probably have seen from some of the other bootleg Red Arrows there. So it's not really particular any version, it's just a simplified version of what the SDCC one might have gotten. So this version of the figure just sort of copies a bits here and there from other figures. The arm and leg printing on these figures do look quite decent, but with Mr. Terrific here, they forgot to flip the Playfair text on the arms. On the other side, it's just the wrong way around. By the way, Deadshot here has really bad hair clutch. And Taskmaster's sword pack here is way too tight on the neck, and I can barely push it all the way down, and I can't push his head down because of that, so I'm gonna have to cut the plastic a little bit just to make it more even. The figures in the next set seem to have some nice accessories. Now, some of these figures have been done before, such as classic Hawkeye. I think Xing Yuan or Li Gu have done it before in the past. And honestly, this version of the figure is just not that good. All the details are very, very much faded by the digital print. But he does have a nice bow and arrow, so you can pick that up if you want. Got a swag dollar bill there for Deadpool, quite nice. And Hulk there has some special weapons. I don't know where they copied that from, but it's the same axe that the Thor from Infinity War is holding as the Stormbreaker. Hawkeye, Punisher, and Nightwing there do have clutch problems with the hands where the accessories keep wanting to pop out because I guess the hand is either a bit too small or the accessory, the bar shape is just a little bit too big. They don't fall out, but when you're messing around the figure, just moving it around a bit, they like to jump out when you do that, and that can get very annoying when you're doing different poses. Once again, the design on all of these are decent enough, but the digital print just makes it not good. The Sentinel here is actually okay. I quite like it. It does look alright in the viewfinder, and it also does look kind of alright when you pick it up. That's because the design is quite simple. It's mostly just lining. There's a few spots like the logo there, chest and the legs, where you have a little bit of color painted in. But other than that, it's mostly lining, and it does look okay. The other figures in the set aren't too bad, but once again, a lot of the detail is faded into the plastic. Thanos and Ninja Batman are probably the worst in this set because they have far too much detail going on. I think XNH is doing minifigure scale Thanos, so just wait for that. And they are definitely doing one, or at least one, I think there's another one as well, of Ninja and Samurai Batman figures. So just wait for those to come out from XNH, and don't get this one because, especially around the stomach area, everything's just far too faded. Nightwing here is also quite bad to see detail since they're printing black on black, but if you like this sort of design where the muscle pattern just sort of bumps out from the plastic, then you might like this. But I'm quite happy with my classic and regular Nightwing figure from official Lego, so I have no intentions of keeping this one. Look at the back, Pogo did try to give us quite a lot of detail on some of these figures, but the Thanos one, I think it didn't even print correctly. There's a lot of white spaces on top of there, just like the we're out of yellow paint or whatever. Detailing on the Batman Ninja is again supposed to be nice, but everything's just blurry and faded here, far too dark. And Deadpool's back is also printed off center, so you got that white pattern making it look really, really cheap. Printing the Sentinel and Batman Ninja there do have the most details, and for the most part, they do line up okay. But this is something you're gonna have to deal with when you're picking them up. The next set here, our only DC character is this Arkham-ish Catwoman here. Now, I'll just say this right now, the digital printing on these figures are way worse than the last few ones we looked to. Are they rushing? It must be rushing, because a lot of these sets come out in a short time period. These ones in particular just don't look that good. Accessory-wise, they seem okay. You got this giant orcish sword for this for Skaar there, but all the other ones they have basic accessories, pistol and sword for another Taskmaster who looked so similar to the previous one. If I just bring that in a moment. And we have this buildable access, some claws for Catwoman of course, and just a basic sword for a classic version of Valkyrie. So why are there two different versions of Taskmaster there? Both of them look just slightly different, but they all seem to be based on the similar or the same design. Why do we need two? Well, if you're gonna pick one, the one from the previous set has a better accessory, this weird shield thing, and this one just sounds like a pistol and katana. Just why? Closer inspection on these figures isn't just that the colors are faded. It almost looks like they were running out of ink. The worst offenders here are Thanos and his son, Thane. Look at these yellow colors. Like, they don't even line up the whites, so they got that problem going on, and everything else just seems like the lining between the digital print isn't. With digital prints, you can choose different quality prints. The higher the quality, the more thinner the lines are, making the resolution higher. So the lower quality, there'd be less lines and more gaps. And there's quite a lot of gaps with these. So yeah, they were trying to print it out as fast as possible, causing these figures to look really, really bad. Valkyrie here doesn't look good either. Her breastplate there just looks very faded and ugly. And Catwoman's head just looks horrible. Just not a fan, just no. Muscle texture pattern on this figure also looks like it's melting into the black underneath. The colors just look weird. And now I'm printing on these figures suffer from the same problems. And the back of Catwoman here is really bad. Unless it's shine only certain lights, I can't even see the pattern that they printed on her back. Now this is interesting. The arms on these figures are pad printed, so they don't have that digital print issue. But the colorings do still seem faded because they didn't pad printed properly. They didn't paint enough white. For example, this watch thingy on Taskmaster and the goldish yellow on Thanos' arms are a bit darker than what they should be because there's no white paint underlayering it. And yet they do have some white paint on some of these figures, so it just seems like a frustrating mess. They got some good bits, but a lot of bad bits. The next set here suffers from the previous set's problem where if you use digital print to fill in a lot of the details, it just looks wrong. So the worst offenders here are Inque there and of course Scarlet Witch, because they decided to print it the other way around. I guess that's okay because now her dress area is bumped up instead of the pink area that's bumped up, so that's okay I suppose. But you got these thin lines just crossing, it's just not that good. And Commander A here, so Commander America, I guess, he's got that issue as well. What some pieces, he looks okay because those printed areas are meant to be armor pieces, so they bump up just right. So as a side effect, he looks okay. But Mockingbird here, not so much. That white seems... it's okay in the viewfinder, but looking in real life, it's got some lining there. It's better than Scarlet, Witch, and Inque, but not by much. His face there is printed way off center and just looks terrible. White lines all over. Back print has the same issues as the front, although because the details here are a little bit more simplified, doesn't look as bad. But once again, we've got some of those hard to see details on the back of Captain A here, because, yep, black on black. Inque as well, but I guess because in a weird way she's supposed to be hard to see all of her details, I'm gonna give her a pass. Much arm detailing or leg detailing on the side of these figures, but what we do have here is okay. And before I move on to the next set, I'll say that I do like this pistol a lot. If we do ever get like Resident Evil bootleg figures, I'd want some of those characters to come with that pistol. This reminds me of those big magnums that you can unlock later in the game that are way powerful. And next set here, we actually have quite a lot of accessories for each figure. So you got all these different guns, which seem like new-ish guns. I've not really seen them before, but a few of them even have second handles. The bat figures here have these new assault rifles there. They look pretty good. And the head cowl piece is actually more of a matte finish than the shiny ones we're used to with Legos and other copies, which is quite nice if you want to do a special, like, more matte-ish color. Like if you, say, want to do a Batman Begins or a Dark Knight suit, or even the Ben Affleck suit, they don't have shiny cowls, so these matte finishes are quite nice. And Franken Castle here has one of these guns as well, little dagger, and we've got a spear there for Warmonger, who is following this more classic comic book look. And figures here really do suffer with all this detailing on the suit. It just doesn't look good at all. Everything looks so bumpy and smudgy, the colors are faded again. Just not good at all. I am not a fan of these Batman figures, which is a shame because the design looks like they're okay. Under the cowls, the face prints are even worse. Off-centered, blurry, ugly. You can't see the blackline details on here at all. By now, but well done, Pogo. And another fault with the figures. Bad leg folding. I think Darkseid is a little bit better just because of how bright the yellow and red is, but aside from that, the face is a little bit off and the chest area seems off as well. Franken-Castle is something that I really wanted to like because I wanted a Franken-Castle minifigure, but he's okay, I suppose. In fact, these three Marvel figures all look decent enough when compared to the other ones. And he doesn't even have that print issue where if you fill in the blanks, you got some lines going across. Doesn't have that issue with the digital print here, so he's come out okay. Warmonger here looks decent as well. Maybe helped by the fact he's got this giant armor piece that covers up the print just a little bit. Again, the back print on these four figures, the Marvel ones and Darkseid there, are faring okay with digital print stuff. The details are there, I can see everything, it's alright. But when we move over to the Batman figures, and ugh. The lining on this one is okay, but these colors are just no good at all. And what the hell is this? Just a yellow logo on the back? This reminds me of really early days of really crappy bootlegs. That's just horrible. I know he's wearing a jacket and all that, but that's just stupid. So, the side printing, some of the other digital ones have pad printing for the arms, but not these guys. These are also digital printed, and okay, I suppose, because there's less of it. They look less ugly than the chest and the back. On a higher note, this set is actually pad printed, and it's printed quite nicely. Especially like the four Batman here, because they're all different colors. I'm missing a green one to make it really colorful. Looks great. All of these have little batarangs. The Deadpool Batman there is definitely the worst. It looks really goofy underneath the cowl, but all the other ones actually have decent enough print on their faces. And all of these figures, an official Lego Caveman Batman out there, but this version of Batman specifically follows the story of Bruce Wayne coming back from the past. So that's great for comic book fans. On the Marvel side of things, Logan looks great. Deadpool Spider-Man, not really sure about him. I mean, he's got, the designs from both figures, but that just doesn't really do it for me. Classic Nick Fury has been done by bootlegs before, but this version is okay. If you don't have those versions, this one's an easy pickup. And finally, this anti-venom here, the patterns and pad printing are done really nicely here. Lots of detailing, looks great. If this was done in a digital print, it would suffer a lot. So the back is also pretty good, and Nick Fury actually has a secondary face where he's not smoking a cigar. Back printing is excellent on all of these figures. Details are sharp, lines are sharp. They all look pretty good. And Spider-Man even has the back net printing that's missing from some of the other digital printed Spider-Man. The printing is also very sharp and detailed. I turned Nick Fury around because it doesn't have any printing on the other side, but it does have a nice shield logo here and a gun pack there on his leg. In terms of plastic quality, all these figures are decent enough, aside from a few mentioned bits of bad molding, so depending on your luck, you should be okay with the plastic shapes. The clutch is also pretty decent overall. Again, aside from the few that I mentioned, the overall clutch is okay. The neck joints on all these figures are a little bit on the tighter side, but not impossibly tight, and they're not too annoying. Just, you know, put your finger around your t-shirt or something and you should twist them off. Most of the designs here are actually pretty interesting and pretty nice for more obscure fans or more hardcore fans. You would definitely be happy to see B-line, C-line characters that you recognize and other casual fans wouldn't know about. And the actual design patterns of all these figures are actually pretty good choices. Because all that comes down to just kind of crap because the digital printing is horrible. In the previous Avenger Infinity War sets that I reviewed, the pad printing there were pretty bad. So I was wondering what's going on with the factories. Is it because the pad printing just only turned so bad that they suddenly had to switch to digital printing? Is there some sort of reason? What's going on with Pogo? Because this digital printing is also a bit rushed on a lot of these figures. So in the long term, that's not good. I hope Pogo can go back to pad printing and solve the pad printing problem as well. Because the last set that we took a look at this video, the pad printing is actually pretty nice, the detail's great. And if you like those characters, you definitely appreciate these bootlegs, you know. And that's a huge shame because some of these characters are great additions to Marvel and DC fans. It's just that they've been done quite poorly here. If you found this video useful, consider clicking the like button, subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and of course, leave a comment below how you feel about these figures, or if you know, of there any upcoming Pogo stuff that you really hope would turn back into the good pad printing that they've been doing for a while now. As always, you can support this channel by sharing this video with other people, watching with ad block turned off, or head over to Patreon and doing it that way. Take care, have a nice day, I'll see you guys soon, bye bye now. Or you have any of the recent Pogo stuff as well, leave a comment below on how you think about these compared to the extended ones if you can pick those up as well. As always, if you found this video useful, click the like button, subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and of course, support this channel by visiting Patreon and supporting it there if you'd like to do that. As always, take care, have a nice day, I'll see you guys soon, bye bye now.